let's go to the Pope. So, as I told you, I usually don't watch shorts, TikTok, and all that kind of stuff, but this is going to be an exception because this gentleman has something to say. And I think it's a great introduction to a problem that has to do, I think it has to do with Catholicism specifically, but I believe this is probably, oh my gosh, spread everywhere within Christendom. I'm going to use a medieval term because, guys, he says we are so cooked. This is not hyperbole. I do agree with him. We are very cooked. Check this out.
Bro, we are so cooked. In a recent meeting, the Pope had to ask priests to stop using ChatGPT when writing sermons. I told you. This is the leader of 1.3 billion Catholics around the world. And for him to announce it like this makes you wonder, how widespread is this issue? In a world's first, he urged priests to, quote, resist the temptation of using artificial intelligence when writing sermons because AI will never be able to share faith. And that's kind of crazy because if you think about it, if politicians are using AI to write speeches, governments are using AI to write laws, therapists are using it to respond to patients, and even now priests to share the word of God, in 5 years' time, how much of the world's thought will even be human anymore?
Holy moly. Two things about this. I chose this specifically because I think he did a really good job. The first half is what we're going to focus on for the rest of what we're going to talk about now until we move to the next point. Priests are using ChatGPT to write their sermons. But the second part that he said is actually fascinating. How much of human thought is going to be machine-made? That's beyond sad. But I have something here to continue. So that was our hook. That was our introduction. Now, you know that I've been as an Italian Christian, I've been brought up Roman Catholic. I have been extremely critical of this Pope because of his involvement with politics. Pisses me off. I call him out. I don't care. But in this case, he's right. And I'm going to say it. So, what did he say? Pope in dialogue with Rome's priests. Be friends, beware of envy and the internet. Pope Leo XIV answers 4 questions from priests of the Diocese of Rome and gives wide-ranging responses touching on spiritual guidance, indication of ministry and pastoral work, the internet, more. The fact that he's addressing it, it means it's widespread. Otherwise, he wouldn't be addressing it. We need a crusade against AI. No to homilies prepared with artificial intelligence. So, before I read it, I need to underline, for those of you who were not brought up in Catholicism, you might be confused with what a homily is. A homily is a religious discourse that it's supposed to build your spirituality. It's supposed to be for spiritual edification. So it's kind of different from, for instance, doctrinal instruction. So generally during a homily, what they're doing in homilies, they're not there telling you this is the doctrine, that's what we believe, this is how it is, this is why. No, it's more like supposed to help you, edify you, and bring you closer to God. And the AI is doing that? So basically these homilies are godless. Right? And again, even if you are atheist, right? Because I respect your position. I'm a Christian, you're an atheist, fine. I don't make fun of you, you don't make fun of me. Great. I'm not going to force my positions on you, you don't force yours on me. Good. We're going to go have a pizza, drink a coffee together. But here's the thing. Even from an atheistic perspective, this is insanity. You got to give me that. From a religious perspective, what I'm expecting a priest to do, and I'm going to say this about pastors and Protestant faiths, about everyone. I don't even care. I don't even care what religion it is. I'm expecting them to sit down, kneel down, stand, do this, and ask God, hey, dear Heavenly Father, help me write something that can help my congregation spread your word and get them closer to you. Who is he going to ask? Is he going to ask God to guide the AI? That's why I say this is godless. There is no God involved. They're not even bothering. If you're enjoying this video so far, please take a moment to check out my Patreon page. With as little as a $5 support, you can help us ensure that we can continue to produce high quality and high researched content. And at the same time, you get access to polls, extra videos, unlisted streams, and much more. Thank you so much. The Pope therefore invited the priests to enter into real life and called for vigilance when confronted with artificial intelligence and internet use. He warned against, open quotes, the temptation to prepare homilies with artificial intelligence, close quotes. And I'm going to say again, I'm someone who, I am very annoyed with the vocabulary chosen by the Pope, 9 times out of 10, but Yeah, I do believe that's a temptation. Why? Because there are only two reasons that I can imagine any form of preacher of whatever denomination that he will be like, you know what, today I'm just going to have ChatGPT write my homily or my sermon or my whatever it is that you're doing, my talk. And there are only two reasons. Either he's lazy, or at this point, I'm going to say he's a fraud. Okay, you can be lazy and still not be a fraud. I'll get that. Or you could be a fraud. You don't believe what you preach. A bit like those priests that were investigated because they were messing with children. I don't believe for a second that they are really there for that they're frauds. It's one of the two. Not a good look. Like all the muscles in the body, if we do not use them, if they do not move them, they die. Brain needs to be used, so our intelligence must also be exercised a little so as not to lose this capacity, close quotes. He's right. Moreover, to give a true homily is to share faith. And AI will never be able to share faith, he insisted. He is absolutely right. It's a disgrace that there are priests in Catholicism that are now using... What are you reading? What on earth are you reading? If we can offer a service that is inculcated in the place, in the parish where we are working, people want to see your faith, your experience as having known and loved Jesus Christ. Yeah, and by the way, the AI is not capable of doing that because it's a personal thing. In fact, anything opinionated cannot be written by AI and still be genuine. And this goes beyond faith, it goes beyond religion. If I were to imagine we just did a review of the Knights of Seven Kingdom, if instead of giving you my personal opinions based on me watching it and the kind of experience that I had, which is really sharing my mind, right, with you, and maybe you'll disagree, maybe you'll agree, maybe you'll think I'm pedantic, whatever. If I had ChatGPT write it, or Claude AI, or God forbid Gemini AI, then it's not my opinion, is it? So it's fake, it's false. And that's the same thing. What kind of experiences the AI have with having known and loved Jesus? How is AI capable of love? Like, it's all fake. The deceptions of the internet, in this regard, a life of prayer is fundamental, not merely the routine of reciting the breviary as quickly as possible, but time spent with the Lord, the Pope explained. Now, this is a little bit of a Catholic perspective, because in Catholicism, you memorize a lot of prayers. That doesn't mean that Catholics never actually pray in their own words to God. Catholics do it all the time. Man, you should have heard some of the things my mom said during her prayers. Definitely customized, definitely edited. But Catholics do spend a lot of time reciting memorized prayers, whereas generally speaking, the Protestant world doesn't do it as much. And then if you go into even other areas of Christianity, there is a strong emphasis on we don't need to recite all of these things. But regardless, it doesn't really matter, because just to give a perspective here, this is kind of very Catholic-centric in this case, but whatever. With a life authentically rooted in the Lord, one can offer something different, he explained, adding that often an illusion on the internet, on TikTok, is to think one is offering oneself and gaining likes and followers in that way. Yeah, that too. I mean, what do you guys think? And I want to know the perspective of both fellow Christians, non-Christians who belong to other religions, atheist and agnostic. I'm curious to know what you guys think. What do you guys think about those YouTube channels with a priest? What do you think about that? Because to me, there is this priest, is kind of famous, very popular, and I can tell he's trying to speak to the younger generation by the way he speaks. He knows all the talk. He's like, and TikTok and like and share and do this and comment down below and that kind of stuff. Fine. I mean, if it helps him connect to the youth and lead them to straight and narrow, I guess, whatever works. It does give me a weird feeling, though. Particularly when they get really popular and you see there is a lot of like production behind it. They speak fast, they jingle keys like they do on TikTok, because I imagine they're thinking about metrics. I mean, if I myself sometimes catch my own biases when I'm thinking about the algorithm too much. YouTube for me started as a way to share something I loved, my passions to the world. Now it's how I pay my mortgage, so of course I have to look at the analytics and the metrics and how to freaking work with the system and how many times I have to post and decide whether on what minute I'm supposed to put the Patreon connection. I have to think of all of that because it's how I provide for my wife and child. But sometimes I also get a bit too fixated with it, and sometimes I'm like, you know what, I know this video is not going to do well, but I love it. I post 30 to 60 times a month, who cares? Not everything has to be optimized. I'm just going to post it. And even if it doesn't get as many views, but the people that did watch it will enjoy it fine. Not everything has to be business. But I think sometimes I catch myself into the drift that is the numbers, the raw, cold data. A priest? What do you guys think? So there is a cool priest YouTuber that you like. Okay, that's good. That's good. Discernment, I imagine. Yeah. There's different kind. I think you have a good point with that. I think it depends. But I like that the Pope called it a temptation, because it is. From our perspective, it is. It can really F you up. Social media brain rot is a thing. It really is. And it does influence you, because also you're constantly judged, by the way, by the system. The fact that every time you post, you have a green arrow up, then you're happy, check, you're like, could have been better, down, gray arrow, 10 out of 10, you're like, oh gosh, it's gone, it's finished, it's the end of it. Like, you can't mess with your mind. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't watch those, so I have no opinion. Makes sense. Here in Brazil, several priests are YouTubers, and some like Padre Paulo Ricardo, I imagine you read it, are vital in converting young people to Catholicism. Sure, I mean, as I say, that if it works and it connects, then good. Looking at the passage is good for historical research, good for understanding theology and what the things meant, good for looking up resources. Do not let it make your sermon or your... Yeah, but even then, you can't trust AI with research, because I asked AI specifically of things I was competent with. So I asked it about Roman history, and I asked it about specifically Japanese and Mandarin, whereby I asked it for tones and I asked it for pitch. It effed up the pitch accent. So if I had believed it, I would have learned something wrong. And then I corrected it, and the AI is like, oh, you're absolutely right. Thanks so much for that correction. The AI is too agreeable. This is why sometimes it can lead to people's reinforcement of their obsessions, and we've seen this happen. Like that guy that thought his mother was a Chinese spy and ended up ending her because the AI was like, yeah, you're actually right. I think you're correct. This is possible. Oh, yeah, she did that. That's strange. Yeah, I see your point. The AI is too agreeable, and it will agree with you. It depends on the prompt, and the prompt will shape the way the AI will provide information. Sometimes the information is correct. I think these language models are good at doing stuff for languages that is not too technical. So if you want to practice your Mandarin and you want to speak to it, to ChatGPT, since it can speak back, it's good. It's good for practice. You can use it that way. But you have to double check it. You cannot have, everyone does it. In fact, channels right now that push out historical AI garbage are using AI for the script, for the research. They're using AI for the voice. They're using AI for the image. They're using AI for the music. They're using AI for the video footage and the editing. They can post 10 times a day. We normal history YouTubers cannot keep up. A lot of the information is wrong, but they don't care, because again, it's luckily YouTube is working against these, though. I gotta give him that one. It is not you if we are not transmitting the message of Jesus Christ. Perhaps we are mistaken, and we must reflect very carefully and humbly about who we are and what we are doing. Pope Leo emphasized 100%. I understand he's trying to be diplomatic here. It's a freaking disgrace. These preachers are using ChatGPT to write their sermons. It's a disgrace. The use of artificial intelligence to draft, outline, or research homilies and sermons is an emerging trend in ministry, offering tools. Oh, you're going to push it? Well, of course, Terminator is going to side with Skynet, right? Offering tools to save time in preparation. However, okay. This practice has sparked significant debate regarding authenticity and pastoral care, with Pope Leo XIV recently warning priests against using AI to write homilies. Yeah, it's kind of giving us a balanced take. Personally, I try to be moderate on things, but there are times in life where you cannot be moderate and you have to be radical on those aspects, and this is one of those. I'm going to say to save time from what? That's your job. Save time so you can go and do what? Drink wine? Come on. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna excuse it. I don't think there is an excuse for it. If you're a priest and you watch this, the only way in which you can maintain my respect, not that it matters, I'm no one, but I'm still going to say it. The only way you can use AI, as far as I'm concerned, and still be respected by me is if you use it as spell check, or if you use it as a glorified thesaurus. Because maybe you are like me, and when you write a page, you reuse the word thus 15 times in a row, and so you ask AI, can you give me some alternatives to thus, particularly if you're not writing in your first language, and maybe they'll tell you can say therefore, you can say notwithstanding, you can say nonetheless, you can say, I don't know, it gives you other connectors, and then you're like, yeah, I like hence more than thus, I'm gonna swap it. That's it. Because this is the extent to which I use it when I write my script. I use it as a glorified thesaurus. That's it. I mean, that's me. Maybe you disagree. Maybe you think, no, it's fine. Let's at the end of the day, let's just pray to a machine god. Why not? Deus ex machina. I guess it's a little silly but that's me.